discussion today. So we are in the AI agentic era. We need to think about how we are transforming our enterprises. And I think he explained all the requirements and what are the different aspects that we need to think about. Then let's look at a little bit of practical angle, how we are going to do it, and how we are going to support you all when doing that. So today I'm going to talk about this low-code and pro-code integration, which enables you to AI applications, AI integrations, which will match your agentic enterprise journey. So I'm Anupama Pathirage, currently working as Head of Engineering for the Integration BU. Before diving into the topic, let's look at a little bit how we develop the software idea. So I think most of you have born before 90s, I believe. And we developed software in different ways in our lifetime itself. In our career itself, we started with hand coding. We wrote everything manually, and then low code came into the picture. And now, and in not exactly now, but maybe a couple of months ago or something like that, AI came into the picture directly. So low code and pro code and AI is here. And in future or even today, it's about intent driven. So we just have to describe what we want, and agents and integrations, applications will take over to deliver what we want. So that's where we are now. So then the question is, there are so many options. There are so many tools, platforms, and how we are going to tackle this problem. Because you have so many options, and you have to match with your requirements, your faster needs in delivering these requirements. And also, you have to think about your expertise in the team. Are we going to introduce something completely new, which is not going to help them in longer run? How about the maintainability? Those kind of things. So when the options come into the picture to do this, we have wide spectrum. So one is like the pro code option. We have maximum flexibility. You can do anything. And it's flexible. And it's like everything is next to you. You can do anything. And then low code is there. It comes faster. You can deliver fast. You can do things quickly by just clicking or drag and drop, whatever it is. And vibe coding is the now hype. We all are doing it. And we just describe, and AI builds it. So in this spectrum, where do you belong? You have to think. And then if you are designing systems, and if you are leading a team, or if you are driving a new initiative, you have to think, what should we select? Or what should we select for the faster needs, as well as the requirements of the system. So most of the low-code systems are backed by a DSL. But it's not a limit, but sometimes when there's a complex things, that can be a limitation depending on the situation. So that is where we are. We all experience this. Maybe we are getting a requirement. We need to deliver it fast, quick demo. All great, okay, we do drag and drop and visual connect and everything, get it done super quickly. Amazing demo, everyone is happy. And maybe someone entering the room and say, can we get this done? I have some complex thing, some complex logic to incorporate. Can you please add it to your flow? Or maybe some custom security thing, or maybe they are saying, okay, we have already developed some libraries already, can we connect them together to your system? That kind of thing. And especially then AI came into the picture, and they might ask, or maybe the person might ask, okay, can we do some AI-related stuff too? And on top of that, governance coming into the picture. In almost all the verticals, we have a set of governance that we need to inbuild into the system. So with these complexities, we hit the wall at some point. So that's why traditional low-code will not help us in this era. We need to deliver fast, but at the same time, we need to understand these complexities. On the other side, it will not completely help either, because the pro code is very flexible, too much freedom. That freedom, what happens is like this flexibility might lead to some inconsistent state. For example, let's say you have a problem in hand. You can hand it over to 5 teams or 5 members to deliver it. Then what happens is they can come up with various options, various ways to implement it. There's no guardrail to say, okay, you have to follow these. There are certain patterns that we know, but at the same time, it's like not controlled in a way that okay, this is not the ideal way to do it, kind of a thing, unless someone is going to review it or something like that. So it is leading to many problems. It can be fragmented solutions, or it can be high maintenance cost. So that's something we have to think when we are selecting a platform to build our solutions. So we are talking about integration here. So integration is a problem that we are trying to solve. So it's about moving data always, because anyway we are dealing with data. Integrate means we are connecting systems together. But now it is not just moving data. We have to take intelligent actions. That's what Shafrin was talking in previous session. So these intelligent actions are based on various things. So we have to make sure our system is capable enough to integrate with all of these things to take that intelligent actions. So let's see how we can do it. So before that, in a traditional enterprise, we have so many things, like still we are in the era that legacy counterparts are there. So it can be ERP, some databases, legacy code bases, all these things are there. So we need to take those data out, and that integration problem is still there. We have to solve it. So no matter how we are doing it, we have to think about that part as well. And then when it comes to the modern integrations, on top of that, we have to develop agents which can reason out as well, which can understand, which can get the context, and then act accordingly. So that's a problem we are trying to solve. That's what we call AI agentic. Or AI native developments. So initially we had systems which are interconnected, connecting the system. That was a problem we had in hand. And now then we automated stuff, workflows and stuff. Then we integrated some of the insights to those decisions. Now we passed that stage too. Now agents need to take the actions. So we have to enable the agents. We have to make sure the capabilities are enough so that agents can act. So the thing is, the other problem is agent needs speed. So we need to make sure all these things are done because as development teams, we have to deliver fast, otherwise we are late in the market. And at the same time, enterprises need the control. So we have to find the right balance. So most of the time, the question that we are getting is, what kind of system we should pitch? We have a set of developers, but maybe they are not very much into the pro code, or maybe we have integration developers. They are very good at integration domain, but maybe not full-fledged developers. That kind of thing we always hear. So we cannot get rid of people. We cannot get rid of expertise. We have to retain. We have to train them to do something better. At the same time, we have to think how we can deliver fast in this world as well. So WSO2 integration platform is exactly what the problem that we are going to solve is exactly that. So it is connecting, that's our integration platform is connecting things, data and everything, APIs for many years. But now it's connecting the agentic enterprise. So to do that, we need to build AI agents, definitely. That support is must have now. And also the agent should operate in the real-time context. It should have context. At the same time, it should be real-time. So that fast access and having a layer which can operate on is very important. And also obviously connecting to the various systems of data, legacy systems, or it can be various SaaS applications. So data should be flowing across the systems. That capability should be seamless. And Shafrin talked about the workflows, human in the loop. We need to have the control. Agents should operate, but at the same time, when we need some intervention, there should be the capability to do that. And better observability. That is inherent part of the system. So agent can do various things. Sometimes we need better control, better traceability, better visibility on what they are doing. So that is the mandatory part in the runtime when we are going to the production. So then let's dive into the details, because Shafrin went through all the pillars and basics of the fundamental requirements. Let's see how integration platform is enabling all these things. So at the top layer, you can see the develop part. So you don't have to restrict yourself. You can develop in the way you want. And if your team is having variation of expertise in different aspects, you can leverage it as it is without compromising anything. And then after you develop the code, that's the main part. Although we talk about they are connecting seamlessly, they are generating code itself, still there's a role to play, because we have to review, at least we have to make sure the system or the generated thing is doing what they're supposed to do. Likewise, the development phase is still very important, because that's a foundational layer. Then once you do that, once you design the application, you have to build various capabilities. It can be APIs, it can be event-based integrations, and it can be automations scheduled or based on certain triggers, and file-based automations, events. Those are very fundamental things in any integration world, integration domain application. You have to build these capabilities, but now in a very different way. Not just the building, how we are operating and how we are connecting as well. Then once you design and develop it, then it's a matter of deploy. Then you don't need to go somewhere else to figure out how we are going to deploy it, or what capabilities we should have in the deployment environment. And you don't need to have a bunch of DevOps engineers. It's not just we are not taking them out from the picture, but they don't need to do the task that they were used to do, very boring task of writing YAMLs or doing day-to-day work, which is boring. Now they have different problem. They have to deliver fast. So then if we are developing fast, can we deliver fast as well? That's where the deployment comes into the picture. So there are two options. One is cloud option. We manage in WSO2 cloud platform, or else you can have self-hosted options as well. Both of these options, we have the capabilities either on-premise or in private cloud, whatever it is. And then observability. That's a very important thing. It can be logs, metrics, whatever it is. We need to have better traceability, integrations in any of these types, as well as agents. So that seamless integration, seamless observability is very important. You should not do, you should not have to do hundreds of things to get it done. So if it is connecting seamlessly, that's the ideal thing. And finally, the connecting layer. Integration is anyway about connecting thousands of things. So that layer should be good enough to handle all these things. So that's basically the WSO2 capability, like in very high level. Let's dive a little bit in this session, so that when you're leaving out of the room, you have some idea how we are doing it and whether you can get any help out of our system. So WSO2 support end-to-end integration development. And if you start from the number 1 and 2, intent and design, usually now we have a lot of ideas because time to deliver is very fast. We can just think about the ideas, and that means very fast we can convert the intent to the design and readily available application. So to do that, intent and design part comes into the picture. We support both those aspects. If you have an idea, you can design. You don't need to design. We will design it for you. And then building the application in one of the ways, pro code, low code, vibe coding, whatever it is. Finally, connect with various systems. Then you get data. You have to process it in efficient way without going through hundreds of lines of codes. You have to efficiently process it and finally test it and deploy and observe. So all these phases we are supporting. Let's quickly go through very quick overview of how this looks like to get an idea. So this is a view of WSO2 Integrator. This is covering the first two part, intent and design. You can see the bar at the top. So if you have an idea, then it's just a matter of explaining it in Copilot. So it will help you to come up with the high-level design. So you don't have to think whether I'm doing the right design kind of a thing. You can incrementally improve it with your knowledge, with your context, but at the same time, it will try to give the best possible design based on the context it is already having. So then with the agent assistance in the Copilot, you can incrementally give the requirements, you can refine it, it's like a companion to you. If you are an architect, you can have it as a companion to design your applications and verify it and make sure that our fundamentals in building the applications is correct. Otherwise, at the later stages, if you have to change it, it's kind of delaying the output. So then one of the biggest concern is, are we going to use our already available by default model, or can we plug in our model? Because most of the enterprises are concerned about their data governance and who is going to access it, who is going to control it, things like that. So enterprises can take the control over the data, and you can bring your own models. Sorry. Yes, then for some reason it's not syncing. Then let's look at how the low-code and pro-code development works in this integrator. So low-code and pro-code means you are not limited to one aspect. You can be either pro-code developer or integration developer, or maybe to a certain extent as it is an application integrator. So you can use it and seamlessly it will reflect on the other side. The good thing is you can leverage the flexibility and the power of the pro code, and then you will get the visualizations, which is very helpful when validating, and also you can see the flow easily, and it's kind of guardrail you. It kinds of control you in a way that you are not going completely out of scope or out of patterns. So basically you are somewhat restricted by the visual side, but still you can ignore completely visual side and go with the code. But since visual side is giving you some validations, that's very helpful during the build time. So whatever the expertise that you have, you can continue. And then pre-built integrations, obviously, that will help you to connect fast and deliver fast. And connectors, when it comes to connectors, we have more than 600 connectors. Most important thing is not the number, but how we generate the connectors. So if you have any requirement to connect some random system, it's not taking ages, like it's taking 1 or 2 hours maybe to generate a connector out of it if we have a specifications. Even if we don't have a specification, it's a matter of days to make it full production ready connector. So that's why we have this much of connectors, and it's AI powered connector generation flows are also there. So the connector store, we can, even you can contribute for the connectors if you have very specific needs. Other than that, we are providing connectors for almost all the SaaS applications, databases, messaging systems, things like that. Then one of the fundamental thing about integration is data integration or AI native integration, whatever it is. So we flow data in and out. Then we should have better ways to store data, transform data, enrich data, and then send it out. So there, if you have to go through a lot of pain to handle this data, that's going to be a problem. But what we have in integrator underneath is very powerful type system, data representation, where you can, it's designed to handle the integration problems. So a lot of things related to integration, how we handle JSON or that kind of payloads, how we handle optional stuff, those kinds of things are, that's like a fraction of things. These are inbuilt. So you don't have to think about it. Just by the type system validations, compile errors and everything, it is imposed. So you don't have to worry too much. And then one part is getting the flow right, sequence, and the entire business logic. Then the other part is visualizing the data. When you are dealing with large interconnected data and also complex data structures, it's very important to have some visualizations and have the relationship. Usually in the ER diagrams in databases, we use this in our college and everywhere. So this kind of visualization you can get just by doing your application. You don't have to do anything. It generates automatically based on your code or how you design your flow. So then it can have a sense about these types, context, and everything. And even AI can help with this with the AI-based code mapping. Here you can provide additional context because sometimes the mapping has some business scenario attached to that. So we can't completely blindly map just by looking at the names or types. You can provide additional context. It will help a lot, especially in the finance, healthcare, those kind of sectors. We have large payloads that we should map into different formats. It can be enterprise kind of EDI kind of formats, or it can be simple JSON, XML, file format, CSV, whatever it is. This canonical format helps you to get into this view and then map whatever the input, output format that you are getting in. So that's the flexibility. And finally, the testing phase. That is the last stage of development phase. The testing is also, traditional testing is anyway there, but AI-assisted testing will help you a lot. It will help you to generate the data sets, generate the test cases, validate it, things like that. And finally, debugging. If you are going through an issue while you are in the development phase, you can do normal debugging, like in the code level. If you are familiar with programming languages, we do breakpoints and then debug. Same kind of breakpoints, you can add it in the visual level. So that's the end of the development phase, and then the deployment options. In WSO2 platform, we are providing self-hosted option. If you have that requirement, you don't want to mix with other stuff, you don't need to share even a control plane, it's fine. You can go with the self-hosted deployment. And then we have our cloud platform, which is iPaaS. We own and manage the control plane, but still, you can have your own data plane. That is where the actual applications or integrations are running. You can have your own data plane, and we just manage it on behalf of you. So that's the difference. It is up to you to decide. So then finally, observability. In the previous session also, we discussed a lot about this. It is not just viewing these logs and metrics. We have to have development time tracing or agent tracing, all these new stuff as well. So all these are supported to make sure AI application development is seamless. So then one last thing I want to cover is developing AI agents. So far we talked about how we can make sure traditional integrations are better, how we can make traditional integrations better by incorporating some of the AI stuff. But at the same time, now we have to develop agents as well. So in previous day tutorials also we covered this stuff. WSO2 integration platform is equipped with AI agents capabilities as a very first class thing. To develop agents, you have all the tools, you get all the tools that you require, and you get all the capabilities across all the phases of the DevOps journey. So another thing is agent evaluation and execution, having tracers, and that kind of information is very important. I think there are a couple of questions around it as well. How we can define these rules, how we can make sure it is doing what it is intended, not anything else. So that kind of thing, we need to have evaluation frameworks and governance, security. All these things are inbuilt. It's just a matter of using it at the right way. So I'm not going into the details of each feature, just to give you a quick understanding where we are and how we can incorporate all these things into one platform. So yes, so agents is one thing. Gen AI application development is completely something that sometimes we feel like, okay, it's not our thing. We should keep it a little bit aside, but it's not the case now. We have to always think how we can integrate Gen AI applications along with our flow. We should automate. Earlier we were thinking we should automate as much as possible. Now we have to think we should hand over things to agents as much as possible. Gen AI application is something that we have to really worry about. So all this combination, from traditional integrations to the AI native integrations, is available in one platform, not just the development, entire life cycle. So when you are leaving out of the room, this is the one last message that I want to keep in your mind. It is not about connecting systems anymore. Integration is the actual execution layer now, because we are developing intelligent integrations. So that is not about developing the integrations and deploy it somewhere else. It's a connected story where you have to think about how you develop, how you design actually first, and then develop, and then deploy, and seamlessly get that observability and all the information at runtime into the development time as well, and then incrementally improve. So that's where the WSO2 integration platform comes into the picture and helps you to give that seamless experience in this agentic enterprise journey. So in the next session, actually, we will cover more about the cloud capabilities. But I will stop from here so that if you have any questions, feel free to ask.